Here with Concordia head men's basketball coach Ben Limback to preview the 2025-26 season, which is about a week and a half away from the first official game as we record this. Year 13 here at Concordia, Nebraska for you. I was going to look just quickly back at last year. Obviously some really impactful seniors were part of that team and are gone, but what did you maybe try to enjoy about that opportunity to coach people like Brad Bennett, Noah Shutt, Tristan Smith, and others over the past 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun group in a lot of ways. You know, the winning, I think, is what everybody notices, and the games and things, and certainly there was a lot of success out of that group, and a lot of records that some of those guys broke, but a special group of guys, that the leadership in the locker room and just the things that are provided outside of the on-court performances, and certainly, you know, you look at Tristan and Noah and Brad, and those guys played significant minutes for a number of years, and you know, replacing All-Americans and things of that nature. But I think the biggest challenge is normally who's going to step up and replace some of that, but also the leadership side of things. But that was a special group and a lot of fun seasons that we had together, and certainly ones that we'll always remember.
Well, I'm sure back in March you started turning the page already once the season ended, and every program goes through some transition of losing some key players. What's been the attitude kind of like for the guys now that maybe have a chance to play bigger roles coming into this year?
Yeah, I think that's part of the joy of coaching is the new start. I think you know, even those groups of seniors, you know, they did the same thing where they're kind of waiting their turn with some of the returners and gone, and you know, this group was no different. I think, you know, on the van rides home, already talking about what needed to happen and what we could have done differently, and the guys that have the ability and certainly could step up and fill some of those roles. So I think the optimism was already there in March, like you mentioned, and I think the work ethic, you know, we took a break, and then the postseason workouts in April already, you could just see the willingness and the hunger to take that next step, not only as a team but individually, in a lot of guys. So I think that is a huge part of this, the challenges of each season and how those unfold, and I think we're already seeing some of that postseason stuff that the work put in, and some of the fruits of that labor already here in the preseason.
Well, you have one senior in particular that's played a lot of minutes. He happens to be sitting just off camera as we record this, but Zach Koulis, what are your expectations for what he can provide?
Well, now that he's sitting here, I got to be nice about it.
Yeah.
But, no, I think he's a veteran. I think anytime you have a guy that's played 4 years and impactful minutes, you know, you go back to his freshman year, the CIT moment, and then you know, even on a bigger stage, the national tournament first round, some huge shots and huge moments already as a freshman, and he's never been afraid of those situations, and I think that's part of the excitement of this year. Now he steps into his final year and more of a leadership role, and certainly the on-court performance, the consistency that he brings, and the understanding of what it means to compete in the league and on the road at the national level. He's got it, so I think we're going to be relying a lot not only on his on-court performance, but also his wealth of information that he's gathered over 4 years.
Well, several players in the junior class have played since they were freshmen, so they're experienced guys now, guys like Hayden Frank, Brooks Kissinger, Jackson Stuvey. How have you seen them grow to the point where now they're kind of ready to be some of your most trusted players out there on the court? Yeah,
I think we lost some big seniors, like you had mentioned before, but I think these guys have played significant roles and significant minutes and are ready. I think they showed a lot of these flashes throughout their career already, and have certainly, I think, were capable of even more things, but maybe didn't have to do all those things yet. But now it's time. I think this is the natural progression that you want to see, where guys, we're competing every day, in practice and in games, and now as juniors, certainly those three you mentioned, they've started a number of games, and they're I think ready for the next stage, which is more leadership and a bigger responsibility in terms of their defensive and offensive assignments.
We've mentioned some of the departures, some of those returners as well. Maybe leaves the door open though for newcomers, freshmen, and transfers that have come in. How do you see some of them impacting this team?
Yeah, I think some of the freshmen and transfers that we have coming in, certainly we hope compete for some impactful minutes. Certainly Tate Oddbody's a guy we recruited out of high school, out of Omaha West Side, and he's been outstanding. I mean, he was around all summer, and he's a competitor. He fits right in with this group of guys, and so I've been pleased with how he's adjusted to the culture and the camaraderie, and he's just a tough player. I mean, he does a lot of things well, but he's also a great team player, so doesn't always need the ball. And then we have a couple freshmen too that I think, Jacob Dutzman and Garrett Johnson, Peyton Brown. I mean, some guys that have already shown some flashes of what we could expect, hopefully sooner than later. Big Luca, I mean, he's an international big guy. He's still learning kind of the ways of the university and our program, but he's got great size. But I'm really high on some of the guys that didn't play a lot last year that are returners. Dane Jacobson looks really good right now, and I know he played some valuable minutes last year. Logan Wilson had a great summer, and he's been injured throughout his career, but he's really shown some things so far that I'm excited about. So there's a lot of guys outside of that I feel like had great summers within our program, that I hope take on this new challenge as well. But certainly those young guys that we mentioned in transfers will hopefully also push the level of the team.
Well, you hit on it already a little bit with the front court. I think is very different, very revamped, I guess, from last year. How are things coming along with the big guys you talked about? Luca being a transfer who has a chance to play as well.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest challenge. I think this team will be different, than the previous probably 3-4 years even. I think when you lose a guy like Tristan Smith and Noah Shutt, two of the all-time greats, that's not easy to replace, in a year. But I think so. I think we'll be different. I don't think. I think it'll be a different side of the ball where maybe more like the 2021, 22 team that made that run to the Elite Eight. Probably more balance this year scoring-wise. Maybe more guard heavy, more backcourt heavy with some of the things. But I like the effort level of our big guys in the front court right now. It's going to be a lot different.
Who do you maybe expect to emerge as a point guard? Is that a position maybe that could be shared a little bit this year? Yeah,
certainly Hayden Frank played some of that for us, but I think he's kind of what they call the combo, where he could play both on and off ball. But Dane Jacobson, I think he's ready. I mean, he feels more mature than his sophomore years maybe. He's very, very unselfish. Yet he has the ability to score. So I think he's been probably the most impressive transition this year from last year to this year in terms of just what he's already doing, how strong he's playing, the reads he's making, and I think that was a big question mark coming in. But I think he's definitely shown the ability to provide something right away, and I think he's ready for this moment.
I know you've always kind of liked to go up tempo and play fast. Is that kind of the plan again this year? How does kind of different personnel change the dynamics?
Yeah, I think this team wants to run. I think we definitely want to do that. I think it's balancing, the shot selection, when to take the shots in a situation we want to get great looks. But this team's fast. We'll play fast. They're also very hungry at the defensive end. We lack communication a lot. That's been the biggest struggle for us. Is this is a quiet team, but I think we will want to play up and down. I think that's to the advantage of this team, especially with the wings and the athleticism. And we're still working through how to do that within a team aspect and taking those great shots.
We've talked about Tristan, but he's playing again. It is, I think, important to note he had used up his eligibility from an NAIA standpoint.
Yep.
But what does it say about his growth and development that has this opportunity to play at Northern Iowa this year?
Yeah, no, I'm happy for him. I think all of us are excited to follow his season. I think. Outstanding career here, and as you mentioned, he was done. He was graduating, and to have this bonus year, the exemption that the NCAA rule allowed, just one of those amazing things that God provided in a moment where he was at that level of play where he could get this opportunity, and now to find a program. I mean, Northern Iowa's had a lot of success and a lot of tradition, and he's joining a group that I think he'll have some experience and some polish to him, and I think from the sounds of it, he's doing very well. Still adjusting to a lot of things, especially living in a different town. But basketball-wise, we're all excited and checking the schedules and seeing when he can play and when maybe we can catch a game or whatever. But certainly he's going to be fun to follow his career even after here at Concordia.
Talked about this being a little bit of a new look team. So what are some of your overall impressions from practice so far, and what you've seen that gives you some optimism that this can be another really quality Concordia men's basketball team?
Yeah, I think the theme that the team shows this year, Run as One, is a big part of it. I think they identified things that could potentially trip us up or pose challenges to us this season, and the idea that Run as One is combined effort where we might not have all Americans maybe on the team this year yet, but certainly there's enough talent in the room, in the locker room, to make some noise, we hope, in the GPAC and at the national level. But in order to do that, it's got to be putting away the selfish maybe desires or the things that we want individually, and trying to compete as one unit. And I think so far we've seen that. I like the leadership growth out of Zach and a lot of these guys that have been waiting their turn for these moments. But I also like how the ball is moving, and it just seems like it's a group that's already bought in to each other, which is great to see, right? And we'll see what we're made of here in a few weeks.
Okay, I've got a few off-topic questions quickly, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
But if you have a chance to go on a date night with your wife, is there a favorite spot for you?
Oh
dinner?
Man, favorite spot here in town? Are we talking
or
Seward
Lincoln.
or anywhere?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Man, I actually like Honest Abe's. If you've ever been to Honest Abe's, you've been down there?
I haven't. No.
Oh, that's downtown. Zach, you been to Honest Abe's? It's a great spot. Great burger joint downtown, right down there on O Street, I think. So you got Honest Abe's is a good one. These guys always say Chick-fil-A and Chipotle, but I like we like the kind of great atmosphere spots, but
Sure.
good food. Yeah.
Do you have on a game day? Do you have a superstition or a ritual you go through?
Oh man, superstition on a game day. These guys kid me. I have a fondness for energy drinks, and I think the Mountain Dew kickstart's probably as close to a game day routine. I like a good nap, so then you take a nap, kickstart, and then you're ready to go. But not a lot of superstitions, but definitely some routines, I guess, is what I would call it.
If you could pick a singer or a band to play at Bulldog Stadium, who would you choose?
A singer or a band?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm probably the stuff I listened to in college. I probably can't say on the air here. It's probably not appropriate for these young ears that are next to us. But I don't know. I think there's some good contemporary Christian artists. I like Josiah Queen. I think one of our guys saw him in concert. Tom Petty's a big guy that I love, but he's passed away, so that's a hard one. But no, I think I'd love to see a Josiah Queen or I know Brandon Lake's pretty popular. I know the halftime show at the Super Bowl is a little controversial right now, so I don't even know who's Bad Bunny. So he doesn't know either. But I think those are probably the top two right there.
What was something fun you got to do over the summer?
Oh man, my wife and I like to go on anniversary vacations, and we went camping out in Colorado, out in the mountains near Vail, and it was a gorgeous environment. The only challenge was we went to a place that had no running water and no electricity, so that made it a little challenging, but we love camping, we love hiking, we love doing the outdoor stuff in the mountains. So Colorado's been pretty nice for us.
That had to be hard. You couldn't check social media.
That was a lot. I'm okay with that. The no running water and the electricity was a marriage tester, to say the least, right? So you get to see how close you really are at that point. But yeah, can you imagine having no electricity with your job?
That would be tough. Yeah. I know this, but what favorite professional sports team?
Oh yeah. Well, the Cubs, they're done now. But the Bears won last night, so that was good. Anything Chicago. The Bulls are kind of stuck in mediocrity, and anything Chicago. You said professional, right?
Yeah.
Chicago. Anything Chicago.
Do you have a hidden talent?
Hidden talent. Oh man, I like to tickle the ivories. I can play the piano. Other than that, I don't know. I'm not too talented, I guess, outside of that.
The piano's a good thing.
Piano, that's probably hidden talent, yeah.
And lastly, hobby outside of basketball.
Is fantasy baseball a hobby?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. I'm not into the fantasy football, but I do like fantasy baseball. So that's probably takes up too much of my time. But yeah, fantasy baseball.
All right. Can we end on a Sco Dogs?
Sco Dogs.